GM. GM. I think the presidential debate has put an end to the political meta for at least a while, because obviously Trump and Biden are still the main two, but the Trump coin itself has had an amazing run for months and months and months and months, right? And this is the worst that the structure has looked since then. And then, of course, Biden, which, despite the fact I think it will have a strong rally at some point, which might be fairly soon, Biden itself, aligned with Biden, has just gotten completely destroyed in terms of the chart. And what you need to understand too is this will not have any significant rally because there's so many people trapped. Just think of all the people who bought the top, bought on the way down, bought before even having sold yet, whatever. And now the market accepts that, okay, I guess Biden maybe is even going to be pulled out of the race, or he's going to just be a fucking vegetable and unable to do anything. Whatever. Regardless of the reasons, the market, which was so hopeful for Biden before, has now turned to, pessimism. But still, lots of people own the coin, and any type of bounce is going to just get sold into. People are going to cut their losses. And to think that, I've been there when I started trading and I first bought like shit coins and didn't sell them or whatever. I was like, oh, well, there's going to be a bounce to like 50 cent at some point. I was like, to give people almost a 10x, right? To give people almost a 10x pump to get out, it's, not going to happen, in my opinion. And when I say that, I mean that it's showing no signs of reaccumulation yet. If it actually goes into a phase where it's sideways for several weeks and then starts to move higher, then you can actually look at it having, oh, this is like people are now starting to actually build positions in it. But the alternative when there's no positions being built is just random squeezes. Just literally like that repeated, right? Except to a smaller magnitude. And that's just how it'll move. So it's, you'll look around and you'll fall into the trap of thinking, well, it's down so much that I can't sell it now. I need to just sell it on a bounce. And that's what everyone's thinking. And that's what everyone's saying. And so when the next bounce comes, you better sell it then, right? Because what will happen is the next bounce will come and you won't sell it because it's not a high enough bounce, and then next thing it'll be lower. And you'll say, well, I wish I sold it there because it's gone down like another 80% since then. Because that's what that is. That's 80% more, right? Easily. And this might be wrong. Maybe there's a massive redemption arc coming for Bowden. But I also look at it and think, if the market gives up on the meta, like if the market says, oh, well, political coins that were good, they were fun at the time, especially like these silly political ones, like the Spoderman meme, whatever. If the market decides to give up on that, then it's over, right? Done. Like, these trends end all the time. Trends come and go, narratives come and go. Remember, you're not an investor in meme coins, you're a trader. So, if you want to then trade, like, I'm actually looking at Bowden because I don't own any. I got rid of it all when I said I went back to Bitcoin and ETH, as I mentioned. As a trader, I would look at Bowden and say there's been a lot of blood and a lot of pessimism and a lot of dumping and capitulation. It's about to flip the bands back to bullish here. You could see potentially how it could have a little pop higher and it might be worth a trade. So I'll keep an eye on it just from that kind of perspective. But it's certainly not something that I think is a good buy. No. And I actually don't think the Trump one is either. And I don't really think any of the political coins at the moment are, except maybe some of the, you're looking at like is Biden going to pull out and get replaced by fucking Gavin Newsom? Or I noticed this, Whitmer. This is the other one. Gretchen Whitmer. If you play that game, cool. That's not my game. I don't bother with it. And so, outside of that, for today, on Trade of the Day, it's a Sunday. I don't see much in the way of, in the way of trading here. There's more green across the altcoin market than there is across Bitcoin and ETH. Nothing really crazy though. A few things popping, but mostly just a sideways market. And so I really don't see any clear moves here. It's not a good place to get long because the pumps have already happened to a large extent, right? So, people got too bearish into the lows on Friday, into the Friday close, and it squeezed them up throughout Saturday, and then it squeezed them up again on Sunday. So it's not a great place to really get long because so far this is a very typical weekend where the direction of the market is bearish, okay? So just look at like the last few Fridays. Here's Friday, right? Direction of the market's bearish. Saturday, squeezes. Sunday, squeezes. Right? Just frustrates. Boom, down it goes. Doesn't mean that it's going to like fall off a cliff again this weekend or next week. But the point is, when people get too bearish into the lows on a weekend and they don't take profit, they get squeezed up. And so I don't see any longs. Shorts, it's not really a good place for shorts either. Obviously, anywhere's a good place for shorts if you've got a system and you can define your risk. But the market is kind of stuck between two levels, where BTC is bearish on many time frames and has bearish structure and downtrend structure, as you can see here. However, it's still in this range. No matter how shitty it looks, it's still in that range. It is holding above 60. And apart from that wick below, we didn't get any close below 60. So, I mean, there's good and bad. And so it's not really a place where you would want to be a high time frame bear, because we can easily squeeze up into the bands, which would be more of a better rejection point to get short, like I talked about on daily levels. And so, it's weekends in general, I say don't trade, but this is definitely one of those weekends where there doesn't seem to be anything clearly forming for a trade. It's also end of the month. So when tomorrow opens, guess what? Everything's a brand new monthly candle, and monthly candles tend to go up and down. They have a wick both sides. So yet another reason why probably shouldn't be carrying too many short-term positions going into this weekend, end of this weekend, into tomorrow. So that's it. GM. Talk soon.